Okay. Let's just do some drops real quick. If you can, introduce yourself saying, yo, this is Cam Gnarly, or however you want to introduce yourself, and then we'll do some drops for the singles on the record. So we have Space and Opportunity.
Okay.
I Don't Play About You, and then Blessed with Stress with.
Okay, I got you. So just do one for each one.
If you can.
Okay. And I'm saying Underground Hip Hop Blog, or I'm saying
for this. So this is for Soundwaves.
Okay.
So just say, introduce yourself, and you're listening to, and then
Soundwaves Radio. Oh, this is Cam. Yo, what's up? This is Cam Gnarly, representing the Inland Empire.
And you're listening to Soundwaves.
You're listening to Soundwaves Radio. This is Blessed with Stress with.
Yeah. Well, let's just do one where you say Soundwaves Radio.
Okay.
And then we'll do another one where you.
And for the individual song.
Yep.
All right, got you.
Yep.
Let's go. What's up? This is Cam Gnarly, representing the Inland Empire. You're listening to Soundwaves Radio.
Perfect. And then let's do Space and Opportunity. However you want to intro that.
Yo, what's up? This is Cam Gnarly. You are listening to Space and Opportunity from Northend Gnarly. Let's go.
Dope. I Don't Play About You.
That's a love song. What's good, y'all? Love, love, love. You're listening to I Don't Play About You from Northend Gnarly. Let me do that again. Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Cam Gnarly, sending love. I want you to check out this song. It's called I Don't Play About You from Northend Gnarly. What's that?
The next one is Blessed with Stress with. Yep.
Peace, peace, peace. What's up, y'all? This is Cam Gnarly. You're listening to Blessed with Stress with off Northend Gnarly. Tune in.
Okay. Let's do one where you're like, yo, this is Cam Gnarly. I dropped my new album, Northend Gnarly. Check out Blessed with Stress with right now.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yo, what's up? This is Cam Gnarly. I just dropped my new album, Northend Gnarly. Check out Blessed with Stress with right now.
And then can you do one for KPFK? Just say, yo, this is Cam Gnarly. You're listening to KPFK.
Yeah. Yo, what's up? This is Cam Gnarly, and you're listening to KPFK.
All right. So we did drops for each song. We did drops for KPFK, Soundwaves. I think if you do one for me, DJ Val the Vandle.
Yo, what's up? This is Cam Gnarly, and you're rocking with my dog, DJ Val the Vandle.
Easy. Okay, cool. I think we're good on drops.
This is Cam Gnarly, Northend Gnarly. Dino on mine, just like every time. Let's go.
Hey, all right. Shout out to everybody who's tuned in on the stream, the Underground Hip Hop Blog stream. This is a experiment that we're hosting right now. Shout out to Armando and Vic. My name is DJ Val the Vandal. If you're watching undergroundhiphopblog.com, this is the live interview stream. And we've got Cam Gnarly from the Inland Empire in the building, in the Ughhblog studio offices. And how are you doing, Mr. Cam?
I'm doing well, man. I'm blessed.
It's good to have you here. Thank you. I know you've dropped music on a consistent basis for some years now. Armando was telling me how you used to submit to Underground Hip Hop Blog years ago, and it's I've known you for some years, seeing you perform.
Yeah, I remember you used to invite me. We was going to Pac Div shows, like pull up, you know?
Yeah, and
that was my early days. For
exactly,
sure.
And you I think at that time you were in a group.
Yeah, man, I was in a group. I was like probably 18, 19, a group called the Hi-Hats. Don't look it up. But that was the early days, man. I remember doing shows. It was the Hi-Hats, Pac Div, the Cool Kids. You know, I was just a child of the internet back then and just trying to find my way musically. So, you know, shout out to y'all for putting me on. You know, I felt at home with y'all.
And one of the reasons that I gravitated towards you was because of this positive energy that you had, but also you had your head on straight and you came about, you know, your business the right way. And I was just like, man, I gotta work with this guy. I know he's talented. I want to support him in any way that I can. And over the years, I've tried to do that as much as I can.
Man, you have. I really appreciate it. Like, you know, those things are the cornerstones of what I do musically. Like, I always want to have something quality, and I'm working my hardest to always offer a quality product to people, and also just to provide something that I feel like musically in the community spaces we don't get a lot of positive energy. So, and I try to do that. I do that in a very uncorny way, which I feel like a lot of people may try to like get on the same thing that I'm on, but they just not approaching it the same way. And for me, it just comes from an authentic place because, you know, I've seen both sides of everything.
Okay, all right. And we've had you on Soundwaves before. You came to the KPFK studios in North Hollywood, or what is that? Yeah, Studio City.
Yeah.
So it's good to have you back on the show. Since then, you've released a couple different projects, and you just recently dropped your latest album called Northend Gnarly.
Yeah, yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about the process of, what you went through during the release of your last album EP to now?
I feel like what I put out circa 2020, actually just my last EP. My last EP was probably like the closest byproduct of like I was creating in a vacuum. I was, my girl did the artwork for it. I made a lot of those records like at home and stuff. And many of those songs were really made just around people I was comfortable with being around. And I wanted to approach it differently because we were in different times.
Yeah.
I feel like my album that I put out in 2020, I had prepped and worked on that already before, COVID and everything like that. So for me, I feel like Love Really Is was a project that, made me turn to myself and really reevaluate a lot about how I, was expressing myself emotionally because, I was stuck in the house and it had nothing to do with to face myself and deal with my emotions. And I wanted to make an album to represent that. And, coming off of before 2020, one of my more notable projects, Nirvana, I really wanted to, embrace this restart that we all had. So I was like, on Nirvana I had songs like The Nine that are fan favorites, and I really wanted to take that energy and cultivate that into a fresh restart so that people can know where I'm coming from and, give them a new offering, a new anthem for the city. So, I wanted to talk about where I was from. So I talked about the North End of San Bernardino, the 909, and just San Bernardino as a whole, and just I use this project to just set that scene and show people what it's like. From the cover art itself, like all of those pieces of the imagery is all inspired by San Bernardino, and I want people to think of me when they think of the city. So I embedded my photo in the cover art. Like you can, kind of look at it. I still get calls every once in a while like, yo, I just noticed that I can see your face in the cover, So, artistically, I just wanted to approach this to give as much quality as possible and also give as much authenticity as possible. So I feel like my last project really, really delved into that, and I just dig deeper. Like Love Really Is, the each song title was a sentence that finished the project name. It was Love Really Is Boundaries, Love Really Is The Heels, Love Really Is Sweet. And I really wanted to expand on that kind of concept. So if you look at the track list for Northend Gnarly, like it's a letter that I'm writing about the city, and then I highlight the song titles throughout the letter. So I feel like, I just want to offer something artistic, something different, and something high quality and, very positive. Like that's my whole thing.
The posi wave is upon us.
Yes. Going forward, we're just doing everything very positive now.
Yeah, talking about the cover art of Northend Gnarly, how did you decide to come up with that postcard little, idea? Was that yours?
It's a little bit. I have to big up my brother, De La Grim. He's the man behind the works. But how we got to that idea is just so many conversations of flushing something out over time. The project had been done for some time, but I feel like the practice of releasing this project just had a lot to do with just faith and patience and really just trusting. When I reached out to him to want to do a cover art together, he had this dope concept idea that was already speaking to what I was hearing in the music for like Dino USA. How just a little sneak peek of what the visual for that would look like. I remember communicating to him like, yo, I want this to feel like you're driving through the city. I want the whole album to feel like you going from downtown Dino all the way to the North End, and then you're just looking back at everything you passed. And he was like, oh, we should do like these drone shots that, we're going to do the drone shots and we'll do like this collage style where we chop up all the streets and stuff like that to make it look like you. And so that because I was saying like I want to embed myself in the city on this one. I want people to think of the city, think of the Dino, and think of me all off this project and all off the look. It all has to get it off the top like a letter, So then how we got to that point was we literally kept flushing out these ideas. I went with my homie and we got the drone shots. We went all around the city for a whole day. A whole day I'm low-key campaigning the album to everybody I'm talking to from University to Highland and Baseline. I'm on every street going to businesses, telling them what we're doing. And the drone shots didn't even end up working the way we wanted to. Like, we got close to it, and then, you know, we were like, let's just, you know, I was still being patient. I was getting through the mixing process of the album. So I'm communicating with De La Grim the whole time, you know, telling him, like, you know, this is what we're getting. We're close. We're getting close. We're about done. Da, da, da. But never, like, pressing him. So then one day, we're getting together, and I was like, oh, you know, we had to shoot some photos for the cover. So the image right there, that's from the meetup that we had. And he was just telling me about how, like, he was going through a move and stuff, and he was telling me about how he was just getting into this new technology, and if I would be patient enough, we could really, you know, take this idea and turn it into something more. So what ended up happening is we were like, oh, let's try to use like an AI render to take a photo and make whatever we input into it look like me. So what ended up happening is the postcard style, that's what we were sourcing. The information was me and him digging all this old vintage photos of San Bernardino and downtown, and a lot of that stuff was postcard material. Okay. And we were just like, dang, like, you know, it'd be dope if we just did what we're, you know, really pulled from the inspiration that we're getting, these vintage Dino pictures and these streets and these street signs and stuff. So we fed that into the AI, probably went through like, I want to say, like, I have a folder of other covers that did not make it. Okay. And just, you know, at some point I'm going to put a post up about it, about how far it came. It started out as like this grainy look of like, oh no, we're not going to do this, but this is getting close. It's getting close, you know, like I recognize these buildings and stuff. And then, you know, one day, like, I was going through all the images, and we're getting, you know, feeding it more and more source material from the area itself, and pairing it with the photo that we took together from our photo shoot when I put up on them, and that image was the best one. And it looked, if I, you know, when I put up the post about it to show the BTS of it, like, you can see the information and the authenticity from what old San Bernardino looked like. Like, this is an amalgamation of like what, you know, the kind of light I'm trying to bring to my city, and it's all these people moving and shaking and stuff like that. And if you notice the cover, mostly everybody's in the shadow, and my energy and my image is coming through the light. So that's really the backstory behind it. And then we just kind of continue to play off that postcard aspect of it, where it's like, you know, the more we talked about it, we're like, you know, we're trying to give this to the world, and like, let's make it a postcard. Like, we're mailing it to the world, you know. So greetings from Northend Gnarly. The typography of the Northend on it is, you know, old postcards of San Bernardino, you know, greetings from San Bernardino. It's already like Route 66. So there's a lot of that kind of material out there. Yeah. So that was going to be the inspo for the typography. So all these pieces are all old Dino source material that we put and poured into it, and, you know, put it in a pot with Cam Gnarly and just mixed it up. So you get the postcard, you get the stamp, you get the look of this, like, you know, this imaginative look of East Street, which if you take East Street all the way up in San Bernardino, you're going to end up on the north end. So for those that know, they can see that, and they know what, you know, what this area is. So it's all in there. And then the back of the postcards where we really just, you know, for lack of a better pun, we really mailed it home right there, because we used, you know, postcard references from old San Bernardino material. So it's super Dino, it's super Cam Gnarly, and it's super creative. So shout out to De La Grim.
Yeah,
we did that,
and it also presents that personal side of the artist. Yeah, you know, that people tend to not give anymore. I mean, look at cover arts by the top hip hop artists. It's just a picture. It's not even that much effort and thought into it. So, you know, I got to commend you for the cover art of the album.
Have that luxury yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have the luxury to be like, man, just put a picture of Halle Berry getting slimed. You know what I'm saying?
But even then, that doesn't really say much.
Exactly. So for me, you know, I'm mindful of how I want to uplift my community artistically, and set a bar, you know what I'm saying, for independent artists or for people who are, you know, coming out of pocket and stuff like that. I'm my primary financier, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it matters to show up, you know, to deliver something that's so quality that somebody who has all the bread in the world probably would be too lazy to do. So for me, you know, it's just important to represent in that kind of way. So, you know, like I said, I try to bring quality. I'm always do that.
Hey, yeah. And, you know, the quality speaks for itself. One great track that you have that I think is high quality is Space and Opportunity.
Yes, thank you.
I've played it on Soundwaves for the past year. I mean, you dropped it at the end of what, maybe 2022?
Yeah, I dropped it at the end of 2022.
Tell me about Space and Opportunity.
Well, that came about, that's one of the ones we actually made in 2020 or 2021, one of the sessions. You know, shout out to Ray, Skywalker Mike, We were working on that song back in 2021 during the Love Really Is sessions when Ray's on the heels. And, I remember talking to Skywalker Mike. I was going through something at the time. And he asked me like how I was doing or whatever. And I was like, man, whether I'm peaceful in my plans or a nigga need the hands, it's just space and opportunity. And he was like, that sounds hard to be a song. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it a song. I promise you. So he had sent me a beat in that moment. And it was this beat called Angel. And then one day I went to the studio and we had just finished something else. We were working on something completely different that Ray was playing saxophone on. And, we was just about to leave and like pull up one more. And I pulled that up and I laid that hook down. And I saw Ray in the corner just like scribbling up. And she had a fire opening verse. And then it turned into that. We added the saxophone on there and the beat was already so angelic. And it just brought you that kind of feeling. And I feel like we really tried to flip something that is used in our area as fighting words to turn it into, to flip that concept and make you think about it more and be like, maybe space and opportunity isn't so much something that we should use in fighting, it's something we can use to grow through, something we can use to grow with. So, that song was special, the visual was special, and it really, floated my entire 2023 because I dropped it in like November of 22 knowing that I would drop Northend Gnarly, and I knew that was going to be one of the first ones. I think the summer of 2021, I was talking to Ray. It was me, Ray, and G-Boz and Waju. We were at a shoot with City James, and I had just did, I think, what ended up being Dro's Interlude on the album, and I was saying like D-I-N-O until that day I gotta go. Hey, Northend Gnarly, and then I said that just that one time. At that point, no song had that, and I was like, that's what I'm gonna call it. And I went through so many, ins and outs. I almost scrapped it. I ended up making another project and stuff like that, but I really believed in the message and how I wanted to reintroduce myself, add more quality to what you've heard from me before, and then just, big up my area. Because I feel like with every year I continue doing what I'm doing, my legend or people knowing me, it precedes me sometimes. So I feel like, some people have known me for so long, they know songs like Cabbage and stuff like that, and I feel like, I made those songs so long ago. Not that I don't still identify with them, but I may not have that in my set at this point, so I don't want to have somebody find me today and be like, oh, I heard he's from San Bernardino. Yeah, he used to have this song called The Nine. You know what I'm saying? Like he used to, like I wanted to represent that right now in the time period where I feel like it's the best way to start running, Yeah. So, I had to do what I had to do for the Dino.
Hear that? You're a great representation of the IE, specifically San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Let me just do a quick drop so that we can do it for sound waves. All right, Los Angeles and the world. You're about to hear this record from Cam Gnarly, Ray, and Skywalker Mike. It is called Space and Opportunity. I've played it on the show before. We've got Cam in the studio, so I'm going to drop it right now. Space and Opportunity by Cam Gnarly. You're listening to KPFK. All right, magic of audio and visuals. We are back. This is KPFK. This is Soundwaves Radio. I'm Val the Vandle. I'm sitting here with Cam Gnarly. What's going on, brother?
I'm good. I'm feeling really, really good, man. I feel I've been doing a 30-day liquid fast. I'm feeling good. I'm looking good. My mind is clear. My energy is right. And the Lord is expelling anything that ain't. So I'm solid.
That's what's up. We just played Space and Opportunity off Northend Gnarly.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about, the inspiration and creation of that track. But one thing I like is the video. Yeah. Where did y'all shoot the video?
We shot that in San Bernardino. A part of San Bernardino that people aren't familiar with is called Big Bear. So people, that's the thing about the IE. We're so big that there's these sections that people go to for vacation, and they act like they ain't never been to the city before. But if you went to Big Bear, then you're in the mountains of San Bernardino.
Yes, sir.
It's the same as saying like, oh, I never been to IE, but you drove through it to get to Indio. You know what I'm saying? It's all a part of it. So I feel like shout out to Skywalker Mike. He's our resident camper in our crew. He loves being in the outdoors. He's always going to Devil's Cane or something like that, or Joshua Tree. So when we made the song, he had already envisioned on a camping trip what it would be like. So I feel like we just took that vision and turned it. We took a day to have that camping trip, and we rode up, and we had multiple cameras. We did the VHS in the car with us, and all those energies. And shout out to homie Levy Holloway and CM McDuff, who did all the BTS cam Plum Wine, who was behind the BTS camera, and we just had a camp day where we had made a campfire, we ate food and little sandwiches and that kind of thing. It was a real experience. So everything that you're seeing in that video, we were seeing for the first time. We had not been up there all together, and it was an all day thing. We met up at 7:00 in the morning, all got in the car. We had our our snacks and our little pinwheel sandwiches and waters and all of that, and we just all rode up there, a little caravan of whips, and had space and opportunity. So it came out beautiful, and I feel like everything about it really encompasses the song as well. But the energy that you're getting, these angles and all that, that's natural beauty, and that chemistry between us and just hanging out, like, that's all authentic. None of this is like stage. It's not a big production group behind us. It's just like 6 people just all committing to one thing.
Dope. Yeah, it definitely gives me organic vibes, and that's always cool. All right, Cam, we got you on KPFK. I want to talk about the Northend Gnarly album, and a song that you recently put out was "I Don't Play About You." And it's produced by, let me make sure I'm saying it right, Do Noise.
Do Noise, shout out my boy Do Noise, also another Northend resident.
I need space and opportunity.
How did this track come about?
That track actually came about after one of the other tracks that's on the album that also came out in November when Space and Opportunity came out. It's a song called Weather on This Side. Shout out to my homie Gold Rose. So we were in the studio in the North End, and we had just finished doing that record, Weather on This Side. And right after, Do Noise is saying, like, man, I'm about to get into like doing Afrobeat style and some dance stuff. And I'm like, man, I do all the melodies, bro. Like, let's, play something. And I was just talking, and I remember my shorty at the time, she was texting me, and we were just like, talking back and forth, and she said something like, "Oh, I don't play about you." It was very similar to the other situation. Most of my stuff, the songs I write are based on situations in my life that make me be like, I'm gonna make a song out of this. So she said like, "Oh, I don't play about you" or something. I was like, that God damn it, that's catchy, So I went ahead and I just started playing with that melody and talking about, stop dropping hints and just speak your truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, saying I don't play about you is really saying so much more than just saying that. It's like, I really care about you. It's, if anybody's talking negatively about you, like, it's all encompassing. And I like to write a lot in nuance where one thing can mean a multiple amount of things. So, that song, we did a little bit of that. For a while there, I think we had it rocking just amongst us in the summer of 2023. And I played it for all the homies who was around, and I knew I was gonna have to revisit that, and that it could be a strong first single for the album. And I use it as well like a commercial for the Dino, So you see me and my shorty in a cool little whip pulling up to Baker's, you know what I'm saying? Like an experience that most IE people can relate to in that moment. And then just having that little party at the park kind of thing where we all just pull up and dance and fellowship in the park and kick it, like that's a very IE experience. We do that a lot, So shout out to my homie Do Noise, and who shot the video? Oh, my boy, my homie Dad from Playtime Productions. Yeah, so we did that visual together too, and he also did the Blessed with Stress with video too. So we've been on a really good roll of just pulling creatives from the section and just making good product.
There it is. All right, I Don't Play About You. Let's get into it right now for Sound Waves. I've played it on the show before. This is Cam Gnarly from Northend Gnarly, new LP, his latest single right now, I Don't Play About You. Turn it up, Sound Waves.
Let's go.
Hey, okay. Shout out to everybody out there on the Underground Hip Hop Blog stream. You're watching how I do Sound Waves before the show actually drops. So I'm just sitting here with Cam Gnarly from San Bernardino, California. Northend Gnarly is out right now. I suggest you go to any DSP and get it. But any plans for a physical copy?
Yes. Actually, physical copies are on the way. We just got the mock-ups back of the hard copy. I may go jewel casing for y'all just for it can last longer, because I feel like the little pocket one, I just don't like how flimsy the CD just fall right out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like that. I probably wouldn't want that. Or if I get it, I probably would never open it. So we're doing that. We're doing vinyl, and like I talked about the cover art for it. We're gonna turn that into a postcard itself and posters itself. So there'll be posters with the front and back cover together, and then there'll be a postcard option, like a hard stock postcard where you can write your own little message and put your own little stamp on there. So, I'm excited to, give people the new merch to come with the album, and also just releasing like new stuff that is expansion of the branding from from Posse, the Posse Prevails back in the day to Posse Waves, and now we're just gonna coin the brand with Very Positive. So I have some very positive merch coming out pretty soon.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
While we have you here and while we have the live stream going on, tell everybody on the net where they can find you performing.
Okay, yeah,
You got some upcoming shows,
yes,
right?
I do. Yes, I do. I will be performing Saturday the 2nd, or February the 2nd.
Saturday, yeah.
Is that
the
the
third,
2nd?
the
The 3rd, yeah. February the 3rd. I'll be in Ontario at Firewater Bar with some heavy hitters like LA Deuce, Mills Was Chosen, M16. M16 the Great, and then I'll also be in Long Beach at Beach Just Because with Assad, Ill, and the homie Switz and Burning Giraffe. So shout out my Long Beach homies, pull up there on Wednesday the 7th of February. And then on February 17th, I'll be back in Ontario at the Ontario History of Art Museum. I'll be doing a very rare DJ set. So I'll be playing some unreleased music there, some stuff from the album as well, and just, vibing out. So, trying to, it's during Ontario Art Walk. So, we're just trying to build up the IE community with the arts and with the good music, good, very positive energy. And I think I'm back in LA late February. I don't know. I forgot the name of the spot that we're performing at, but the show is called No Evil. So I'll be performing at a show called No Evil.
Coming soon.
Yes, February 26, 27. So
Okay.
I'll be back in LA, y'all.
Hey, so everybody who's out there right now, go see Cam Gnarly perform live. I think the dates might be up on your website. What's your website?
Yeah. It's camgnarly.com. You can go to camgnarly.com or camgnarly.com/shows. But if you go to the website, just click shows. I always update it with whatever we got coming up. So all the details are on there. Click the link, get yourself a ticket, or some of it is free. So, just pull up. It's family friendly. And if it's not, wait till you're older.
One show or event that you did recently that I want to give you props for is this councilman or assembly member that you were that you were helping get reelected.
Yes,
Tell me about this.
Shout out to my bro Ben Reynoso. All my people, if you're from the Inland Empire listening right now, please reelect Councilman Ben Reynoso. He's actually the city councilman of the North End.
Okay.
Of the 5th Ward.
Great time.
San Bernardino. I know. I thought that was good too. So but he's really a friend. My community engagement really stems from my family. My parents did junior micro and sports in San Bernardino for almost 10 years. My dad was the athletic director. My mother was the president for some time. So a lot of kids and was in and out of our house, for the sports and for football and stuff like that. And a lot of community members, a lot of that stuff is all intertwined. So, Ben's little brother was really close to my little brother. I knew him before I knew Ben, and he started getting into my music in early, around Nirvana time in the 9 and stuff, and he was already working in community orgs. And shout out to all of SB Generation Now and stuff like that, really emboldened me a lot to lean more into the types of community spaces that I'm familiar with that aren't necessarily a part of my music, but that's the point, to bridge these things. And I feel like overall my years of being an artist or working in spaces of education, I'm starting to really see these things are just kind of all meshing together and, amplifying the music more, amplifying the message more, and just, showing people that you don't got to just be one way. I feel like I walk in duality all the time, and I talk about that in music, and now I'm also seeing it in my impact in the community. So it's really dope that, I dropped Northend Gnarly. I played it for Ben before, and he really just loved the Dino USA intro. So he, when he approached me to start doing content together for it, I was like, of course we like cousins. Of course I'm gonna help you,
Yeah.
But it felt really dope that we could be two guys from the North End come together from different parts of our interest and, have mutual interest in just uplifting our area, the North End.
Community.
So, we did the campaign rally at Cal State San Bernardino. I used to go there. He's gone there before. I used to do a radio show back in the day at Cal State. Shout out to Lacey Kendall up there. And it was dope for him to come out to Dino USA and mention it as a part of his mindset. He's really a great orator. So honestly, he made it sound more grandiose than in that moment. I was like, it was a real moment. So shout out to him and everybody who's just interested in creating change right where they live. We can all be up in arms about what's going on all across the world and stuff like that. And all of that is just as important to be mindful of. But that energy is also best suited right in your own backyard. And that's why you got to start with, working in city government, get to know your officials, get to know your councilmen, because those are the people who are, fighting for your stuff. In our area, we deal a lot with a lot of warehouses out there, so it's a big issue with air quality, with the trucks, with the streets and stuff like that. It all plays a part. So he kind of opened my eyes to that in ways that I can help, just based on raising my voice about it and being a support system about it. So, shout out to Ben Reynoso. It was definitely a cool little plug that the city councilman of the North End is a fan of Northend Gnarly. So.
Yeah, man. Okay. Well, congrats to you on, supporting your community. That's what I've always known you as, somebody who is a strong supporter of your community. So dope. Congrats on that.
Thank you, bro.
And I want to say, your collaborators on the album, can you go through what it was like working with Ray, working with Skywalker Mike, Gold Rose?
Yeah. On that, I feel like me, Ray is from San Bernardino. Gold Rose is from Moval, but it's IE family. That's my cousin. We like cousins for real. People always notice how we look very similar. And even working with Skywalker, he's been my DJ. He's the hands-on guy when we're collaborating on merch. We'll get on FaceTime for hours and just go through different designs and styles and stuff like that. We've been doing that for years. So when he started getting into production, of course, I'm his friend. We're gonna work on something. I'm gonna pick the ones I like the most to work on. So Skywalker Mike is a great producer in his own right, great visual artist in his own right, great DJ in his own right. So it was only right for us to work together. And when he started pushing more of his own individual music, and then with Ray, she's a real figure in San Bernardino from her photography, what she does with Creatively Ray in the Inland Empire as a photographer, but as a singer as well. She's her voice is amazing, and she's just as community oriented as I. So when we started linking up, we went to high school together back in the day, but when she moved back from New York to IE, we worked a lot hand in hand. So a lot of songs on her last album I'm on, and as well as she was on my last project, The Heels. So that's really, those sessions really what culminated. I think we got a couple more joints in the tuck that will probably come out later this year. And then working with Gold Rose, it was just an artist that I really, really liked as a rapper, just amazing writer. Like bro is fire, and just trying to always link with new people and expand the network. You know what I'm saying? So when I started working with Gold Rose, it was kind of easy. We just hung out. We're rappers. We're gonna rap. And Do Noise is another one of those guys that really just is good at dot connecting and plugging people together and inviting people to sessions. So shout out to Do Noise, and that's how that happened. And the only other feature on there is the homie G-Bose, who's also a great photographer. Those of you that may have known him from like his days at Milk Studios and stuff. And he does like a lot of great photography of like LA parties, LA nightlife, and a lot of celebrity stuff like that. But he's also a really dope rapper as well. So, and he's from San Bernardino, just like us. So him and I have been down with each other from back in the Nirvana days. So it's only right to just, big up the homies.
Yeah. I hear that. Dope. Well, yeah, I mean, the album is filled with an array of different sounds and vibes, but you did a good job of making sure that it all is cohesive in a way. So, what was your mindset on picking some of the beats, or, in terms of the sonic landscape for this album?
I really wanted to feel like, I wanted every song to feel like you're riding through the Dino, something to ride to, and I feel like every song has that riding ability to it. And when I was doing the sequencing, that's what I wanted to feel like. I wanted if I could go through each track, but Dino USA really paints a picture of where we are. It may not, what I'm speaking on in that exact moment is not the North, and I'm talking about the Dino as a whole, the things that we are navigating at all times, the narratives that we're navigating at all times, the situations that make us who we are, and that looking over our shoulder, but that blind optimism at the same time, like that is all embedded into San Bernardino. And I feel like for people who have grown up in areas that have a lot of violence or turmoil or just a negative rap overall, like, what it's like. You have to look over your shoulder to go to a Baker's or to an In-N-Out or a Fat Burger. We all, there's a ghetto everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So you can relate to that type of energy. And, I like to speak light and faith over that kind of situation. So I wanted to paint that picture. And then just all of that creates the narrative going forward from blessed with, stressed with. It's another metaphor of just like, the same things we're blessed with is the same thing we're stressed with. And if you're from the IE, that's literally, encompasses how it feels to be in such a beautiful space. We're in all these mountains and fields and all that kind of stuff, but, it's still impoverished. It's still a problem. It still gets a bad rap, back in the day, you remember IE didn't used to catch as many strays as we do on Twitter these days. You remember it used to be love, but we catch a lot of strays. So I feel like that encompasses it, and for everybody goes through that. And then each song, from More to Do, that shout out to my homie Grammy nominated Nabi in on that beat right there, and also Oh Gosh Leotis, that's my man's from right off of Lakewood doing the you want to talk about the North End, huh? Like that energy between the three of us. Nabi in is from the North End, so when I made that song, I wanted to talk about what it feels like to be from the North End. Low key, you feel like you big shit because you got mountains in your backyard and stuff like that, but it's still the Dino. It comes with these things. So it's about harnessing your mindset of having that glow about you and know that you shining even if nobody else can really recognize it because we all under the shadow of the city. So and then all the other songs are just the thematics of the stuff to have anthems like Taking Back Control. Dro's Interlude is about one of my best friends, my homegirls that I lost back in 2017, and you can hear her voice on the record. That one of my older songs called Uber back in the day, I shot a video for it, and she was the only Uber driver I knew. So our last link up is on camera, and I used the audio of that to kind of just recreate those moments. I didn't even have a car back then, and she used to drive me to the studio. She used to pick me up for new job opportunities and stuff like that. So, when I heard that beat, I just happened to have this flow, and I wanted to, immortalize it like that and give her son ability to hear her voice whenever he wanted to on that, and to her saying something positive, saying go for it, and that's something that she would say all the time. So I feel like up until that half of the album, everything else after that half, it kind of speaks to that duality where you can feel this darkness or this aura that we're navigating on the first half, and then you get to like, I don't play about you, which is also a metaphor too. I don't play about where I come from as well. Like it can be considered a love song. Like I said, I like to write in nuance, so it can apply to other things. And then you get space and opportunity, call in, call out, like those type of energies where not only am I saying I love where I'm from, but I'm interested in holding my where I'm from accountable for ourselves. We have to put on for ourselves, so make strides for ourselves. I credit so many IE artists if they don't realize you can do stuff that some people cannot do. Some people are only big in one city. I can definitely say that I can do things in the IE, and I can do things in LA, and I can do things in other areas. But at the same time, I'm taking where I come from everywhere I go. And it's never me succumbing to, I'm in LA, so I'm saying I'm from, like that. I'm gonna do that. And the artists that that make strides for our areas, even outside of just rap, like shout out to my cousins from Brain Story and like different types of sounds out there. IE is so big, we have so many sounds. So for me, having an album that meshes well and encompasses all these different types of styles and landscapes, because we have it all. That's what I wanted it to feel like.
Got you. Yeah, I was gonna ask about the Dro's Interlude, but you just answered the question.
Yeah, Dro's Interlude. That's
I even asked.
Yeah, shout out R.I.P. Adriana George, man. She was one of my best friends back in the day. That friend you have when they look at you and remember you before you even saw what what you thought you could be. And she was one of those people that used to tell me all the time, bro, when you on, it's gonna be and from the moment that she passed, I mean, in 2017, I think I don't know if you remember, we had did this online show. This is before Rhythm and Flow. It was called Versus. Do you remember that? And it was like me and Noah and
I do.
It was me and Noah. Verbs is on it. Satire. Satire. I battled Satire on there.
I do remember
and then
that.
Mers was one of the judges. Dumbfounded. Shout Rex Dizzy. All the homies from that show. And all of that literally happened like a week after she had passed away. So some of that stuff is a blur to me, but so many great things happened after that, and I credit so many of those moments to her memory, just supercharging all of us. And I feel like that's how energy is, And I say that on the song, like energy never really dies. Ain't no adios. Like it's flowing through all of us, and you can keep people's memory alive if you become intentional about it. So this was my my spiritual offering and musical offering for her memory and everything she's done for me personally in my conversations with her. Still, when she's not even here, I light a candle for her, and that song is for that, and it's a bang, it's a bop too. That's what's really dope, because that's the kind of woman she was. Like she was deep. She could talk about all kinds of stuff, but we were definitely turning it up back in the day. It's partly how I got the gnarly name in the first place.
Hey. So there it is, Sound Waves. You got some exclusive behind-the-scenes knowledge on Dro's Interlude. Let's get into it right now. Sound Waves, this is a worldwide debut on LA radio. We are playing Cam Gnarly's Northend Gnarly album, and this joint is Dro's Interlude. Let's get into it. Turn it up. Cam is in the studio with us. Ooh, all right. Damn, we've been recording for 40 minutes? Yikes. Okay.
Going fast.
Yeah, well, and I feel like we talked about it a lot. We did the drops, the meanings of Northend Gnarly, the distance between the two projects, a bunch of collaborators.
Yeah. I think it's dope. Shout out to the people that told me that Love Really Is my best project, and then the homie Noah had said something to me. That was back in 2021.
Shout out to Noah James.
That's my brother. We do so much together, and we've got projects together. Shout out our Alpha Pup family and stuff. But I remember saying that to him. I was like, man, I just want people to rock with this even more than they rocked with Love Really Is. Because that one I was taking a lot of sonic leaps as well, doing more melodic stuff. Songs like Boundaries, songs like The Hills, kind of taking my voice elsewhere before I showed them that same thing on like I Don't Play About You. And he was saying like, bro, this is your best project that I've listened to. I probably listened to this one the most. And at first I was like, damn. But then he was like, well, no, you want that though. You want that. You want every time you step up for people to look at that as your best example of what you do. And I feel like that's what's dope about it. So I appreciate everybody who empowers me every time I release a project, and I can definitely feel that I have real listeners, real supporters, and real community surrounding what I do, which is dope because we're trying to do it for our community, for the IE.
Yeah. Big shout out to Noah James. He's the big dog of the IE. I always look to him to find out what's hot out there.
Yeah.
And I know you guys have your side project. So shout out to him.
Yeah, we have a whole album on the tuck. Whenever we decide to do that, that's gonna be crazy. And we also still collaborate in a lot of ways. Me with Rat Habits Holiday and him with Brick to Your Face. We throw Audio Dope. We have that coming up later this month. We have Jansport J in February coming out again, and it's really dope to just create those spaces for artists to come through, do their open mic thing, because that's really how we came together in the early days of going to the Project Blows and all that kind of thing, and the vibe and the common ground back in the day. Like that's what I look at that as my college years. Kind of coming up around everybody who started to gain their fan base during that time period, and it was those stage experiences that made that.
That
possible.
prepped you for everything, man.
Oh yeah, I've been, me. I perform. I do a lot of performing. I'm not rapping over my vocals. I'm a real performer, and a lot of my music is also driven by harmony and melody. So I'm doing a lot of breath control. I'm doing a lot of switches and my vocal inflection. Like I care about this stuff, and all of that really came from those early days of seeing so many fire performances of the early days of like the Curtis Kings and the Stevie Crooks and the UNIs and being around Pac Div. Like I still remember them doing that 3-part flow and stuff like that, and I see that type of energy still growing in artists like Coast Contra and stuff like that. Like all of that is still present. I'm really just a student. Like I just like to absorb the things that I like, and I add what I can to my product.
And always keep it positive.
Yes, sir. Very positive.
Very positive
indeed.
Shout out to everybody who's in tune with the Posi Waves that we got going on here with Cam Gnarly. Shout out to everybody on Sound Waves Radio, and big shout out to Underground Hip Hop Blog. What is one thing that you want people to take away from the album?
One thing I want people to take away is that I want them to think of me when they think about the IE. And because for the things that I feel like I represent and I encompass, I want them to know that not only is there the type of music that you're used to hearing, but I'm existing out here as well. And we're trying to uplift things, and we're trying to uplift the people and do it in a way that, like I said, it's not in some corny, preachy, like you got to do better to, that kind of thing. I'm just talking to you the way I would talk to my homies, the way that we want to discipline ourselves and better ourselves through the music. I'm seeking enlightenment, not just for the community, but for myself. A lot of times the things I'm talking about in the music are things that I'm saying to myself because I'm that kind of person. And the people I care about are those kind of people as well. So I'm inspired by them, and I try to pour that into the music so that it can do that for the next person and feel that I'm speaking to the people who don't feel represented yet.
Okay, all right, there it is. For those who are listening, who are online, you got to check out Cam Gnarly. He is going to be doing a very special guest DJ set at the Ontario Museum of History and Art in about 2 weeks. February 17th is the date. What can people expect from this?
You can expect me to play the vibes that I do with the homies and play the music that I really like. The music that I'm interested in, the music that I listen to. You'll hear stuff that maybe isn't what you would expect from a Cam Gnarly palette, but I want people to know me in a way even greater than just in the music, because I feel like if you understand me more and where my ear is and the kind of stuff that I'm inspired by and how much variety that is, I feel like you may get to know me in a different light. So I feel like it's a great opportunity for me to exercise one of my hobbies and, you know, and bring it to the community spaces where it should be. So you can expect to hear unreleased music there, you know, and I feel like that's another great opportunity to support artists, play music that I like, play artists from the Inland Empire that I like, play unreleased stuff that I may not want out just yet. But if you're here to share in this moment, you're going to hear some unreleased stuff or stuff that I'm working on. I'm very much a work in front of you type of person. So I'll do a set and tell them like, yo, I ain't never done this one before. We working it out live.
Hey.
You know, I've written songs in the process of like, I ain't revisited it since the last time, but I'm gonna perform it up to this point and then I'll freestyle the rest. And if I like it and the crowd responds to it, that will be something that will go on the song. So for me, it's all an experiment in art, in artistry. So I'm gonna express my artistry in the music that I listen to in that way and share it with that room of people there at the Ontario Art Walk. So yeah, shout out to it'll be me and Skywalker Mike playing music, you know, just like we do. And yeah, pull up to hear some unreleased music that's going to be on an upcoming project. So I will be dropping another album or another project this year. It's already done, really. It's just about coming up with fleshing out the concept and the idea, but the music is there.
Yeah, man. And you talked about concepts, ideas. Tell me a little bit about the video for Blessed With, Stressed With.
Oh man, shout out to my homie Dev.
I seen you doing you had an radio interview in that video.
Yeah, it was so crazy about that. I actually just went back to that spot I did the show over there. Shout out to Progress and Plains. They had me back over there. But and that was also the IE radio station, you know, something that we did out there. But the concept of that is really embedded in the song, and I wanted to set it up in a way that an artist can relate to, because for me, the same things, you know, we here on a Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? I went to work earlier today and stuff like that, but I'm blessed to have the opportunity to do these things, to extend my art. So for some people, that may be a stress, you know what I'm saying? Driving in an hour of traffic, that's a stress.
Hell
but
yeah.
my destination is what I'm blessed with, to sit here with you and talk about my artistry with people who care about it and appreciate that type of art. So I feel like that's what I wanted to encompass in that video, where you see me in two different spaces, and you see me in one, this tranquil space sitting next to plants. I got my glasses on, I'm chilling, I'm barely moving. And, you know, you see me in that kind of day in the life where I start my day off by, you know, the hot towel to the face. I'm at the shop getting my cut. I say my pieces out, and then we start along the road. And the cutaway of that is me under the light and just looking up. And I feel like that's supposed to represent like the stresses that when you're talking to God, like, yo, why am I dealing with this? You know, and that's the duality of that image. And then from there, you see me pull up to someone who looks like they're trying to sign me into a contract or something like that. And I read through it. And I'm like, this is not, this is trash. Comes with stress, and that inevitably comes with change that I cannot disassociate myself from. So that song is supposed to represent that, you know, the same things I'm blessed with. I put in a lot of effort, but I still got to press shit. And, you know, I feel like as an artist, anybody who's trying to do that, you can relate to that, because you know what it's like to sometimes feel like, bro, I deserve these things, and and then you meet a new obstacle and you're like, oh, well, I got to put my boots back on. I got to work a little bit harder to get something that I may have felt like I already earned. But that's the whole thing. Like, it's the journey of the whole aspect of it all. So it's the good and the bad.
Man, My brain is fried from that Mary Jane.
Hey.
Do you remember a song called Mary Jane?
Yes, I have a song. I have a song called Mary Jane. Shout out to my homie Airplane James.
Let's talk about that record, bro.
Man.
I thoroughly enjoyed Mary Jane, the song that you created with Airplane James.
Yeah, and
tell me about that.
We man, I was inspired by something that I think Airplane James does really well, and personally, I'm a fan of bro. But how we met, actually, I was doing Payday LA back in this is probably like, I want to say like 2017. And I was doing Payday LA, and I did my joint called Levitate. And Bad Luck from Diamond Lane came up to me. He was like, bro, I want to introduce you to this artist that's on our label. I think y'all should work together. So, him and I said what's up to each other. We stayed in contact in that time. And he was doing some great stuff at the time too. I think we dropped on the same day. I dropped Nirvana on the same day as him dropping something. And I think the homie Sham had dropped something around that time. So I was really close with like both of them at that time. Sham actually did the artwork for It's a Good and a Bad Come With You HC project that came out the year later, but that was one of the singles from it. So I think he had did this song that was a flip. He's very good at flipping records that you've heard before and doing it his way. And I just loved that. I love that because he's so good at it. He's an amazing songwriter artist. But when I heard that he did I Still Fuck With You, or it's what was it called? I think it was like, Fuck With You. It was like FWU. And it was a song with him and Sham. And I liked all these different referential layers in the song. So me and AK were working on something, and I was like, I want to flip something, but I want to flip something that people aren't used to. So we did like a bunch of flips in one session. On that project too, there's a song called Too Much, where we replayed the Spice Girls, one of the Spice Girls songs, and that became that one. Okay. And then again, one of those ones where we're like, let's just do one more, let's just do one more. So we put flips on top of flips. That song is a flip of like the Michael Jackson and what's his name? Is it Paul McCartney? Yeah. The Girl Is Mine joint. Yeah. And then, Mike had flipped that at another time. And then there's the other one with the LL Cool J. And then it was, I was already in a flip. I wanted to do more flips. So I was like, let's, play with the melody. I'll do like a Nate Dogg style, because me and Plain had talked a bunch of times. He was like, I love Levitate so much. I love when you get into that long melody bag. So I wanted to pull that and flip that onto this modern drum pattern. Especially because that song, for me, I feel like that people love that song as a Nate Dogg song, but they don't even know who the artist is.
Shake Shack,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. They just hear it like, it's a Nate Dogg. So when I did that, I was like, I want to have that moment where people hear the song and it hits them on that many levels, the same way I felt when I listened to Airplane James music. So we did that one, and I did the first part, and I low-key flipped DJ Quick's flow, that now what you hear is not a drag. Mr. DJ Quick got a brand new bag. So I said, now what you hear is not no drag. And I, and made it about like, going to cop some trees and stuff like that. And I remember I sent it to him via text, and he was like, I'm listening to it right now. And then he sent me a voice, and he's like, nigga, I'm at the movies right now. And I just happened to press play during the previews. This shit is crazy. So we went out to LA, and we had, we came out here and went to the studio with him, and Problem was in there, and we just laid it down. And that song is just super standout. We have yet to perform that together. Oh, wow. And that's low-key one of my biggest regrets. There's this one thing where I didn't know he was about to be. I did a show in Lamert Park for a Juneteenth, and I didn't know he was there. And while I was doing the song, I saw him there, and immediately I was like, damn, I should have had bro do that song. So at some point, we're going to have to do that live together. But and then he came out to the IE. We shot the video for it, and, that's my dog. I'm a big fan of him. But, yeah, that song's a banger. That's one of those ones that when I perform it, everybody. The stoners hit it, the aunties hit their two-step to it, and those that really know, especially when we get this is where I wanna be, they get into it with me. So it's a great song in a lot of different layers.
Yeah, man, that was one of my favorite joints from you. I've definitely played it on Soundwaves multiple times. Let's see, man. This is Soundwaves Radio, DJ Val the Vandle. We're back in the studio. We're here at the Ughh studio. Shout out to Armando.
Shout out Ughh.
Hey.
I've been sending them stuff for years, and my dogs. I appreciate it every time y'all ever post it. Thank y'all.
Yeah. Cam, let's see. I feel like I got everything for Soundwaves, but let me know is there anything you want to tell the people? Anybody you want to shout out?
Man, I want to shout out just the Inland Empire community that uplifts me, and the people that play a part. Some of the people that kind of maybe don't go as noticed. But like the DJs, like the Skywalker Mics, the DJ Calligraphy, the homie Teresa, Productive Culture, my homie JMKM, they do so much sound wise for creating these moments and these nights. The homie, Noah James, Lisa J, the homie A Sincere, the Audio Dope team that we have there, the homie Nishan, who's a great host as well, the homegirls who help with the content. Shout out to Homegirl Plum Wine. I want to shout out my artists that I work with and that I'm friends with and that I'm inspired by, from the Rays to the G-Bos to Gold Rose to the Airplane James, like everyone that I've had an opportunity to work with, and kind of bridge that energy from the IE to LA. It's been really important for me to always do that because my family is originally from LA. I'm from the IE, but my father was born in Venice, so he grew up out here in LA. My mother is from the Midwest, Chicago. She went to Fairfax. We moved from Santa Monica to the IE. So I used to talk to my pops all the time. Like, I grew up in the IE. You know what I'm saying? Like, it may say Santa Monica on my thing, but I grew up in the IE. My first fights were in the IE, and my first kisses and all that kind of stuff. But I grew up bouncing back and forth between. Like I said, my father was from out here, and I'm their first son, so I was really, that you're the oldest, you're close to your parents, you kind of feel the shifts and the moves of life more than your younger siblings do. Mm-hmm. So I remember staying out here in LA, and I remember even when we moved to the IE, in the area in San Bernardino that we lived in, there wasn't a school or nothing like that. So for me, getting on the freeway and driving off of Crenshaw and Harcourt where my family stay at and stuff like that, like I would have a lot of my earliest experiences in LA and have to deal with that duality of like the girls from LA saying, "Why you talking white?" or whatever. And I'm like, I'll go to school in San Bernardino, like it's a different school. And I went to Performing Arts Elementary School in Fontana when I was really young. So I started out like singing and doing plays and stuff like that. I auditioned for The Lion King on Broadway when I was like 8 years old. And, I come from, my dad's the youngest of 10, so all my cousins are like my siblings. So I just saw a lot early and was around a lot of different people early. So I feel like that's where a lot of my understanding for stuff comes from, because I've lived a life. I've lived a particular life, and I've been around a lot of different people where I understand stuff. I'm not quick to judge, and I'm typically somebody that understands both sides of things.
There it is. Well, let's see. I think I'm pretty good, Armando. Yeah. I think I hit everything on my list here. We did upcoming shows, multiple collaborations, all the singles. Let's just ask what's in the future, Cam. I know you said you're gonna drop another project by the end of the year.
Yeah. For me, in the future, I just plan to continue watering the seeds that I've been planting. I definitely this year something I want to do and manifest things that I've been maybe afraid to do or wasn't in a position to do. And this year I'm just going to push myself to have a discipline and a will to do things I've never done. Like the example of doing a 30-day liquid fast at the top of the year. This was not a New Year's resolution. This was just an exercise in my own personal discipline. So, this year I want to travel more. I want to do more shows out of state and link with my friends and family that I have in other parts of the U.S. and, the greater world at large, and take the music out to those places. And also, people, I've been putting out music for so long. I have a lot of listeners in places I've never been before, and I want to go out there. I want to, I got listeners in Korea. I got listeners in the Czech Republic and Germany and stuff like that. I have listeners in the UK, and I plan on, touching grass out there and taking the very positive energy over there, like in person. So I plan on, if not doing that this year, planting those seeds right now so that they can sprout by next year.
Hey, that's dope. Well, everybody out there listening, you need to go support this guy, Cam Gnarly. Northend Gnarly album is in stores right now. Go get it. Check him out, performing soon. And safe travels at your next gig, Cam. Thank you for stopping through the Soundwaves, as always. That's it.
Thank you, Soundwaves. Thank you, Ugg Studios. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Val.
Yes, sir. All right.
It's a badass interview right there, man.
Thank you, bro.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie. I spend a lot of time talking to people, so I know how to. I work with youth. I gotta talk there. I do a lot of talking.
That's right.